Hello and welcome to my channel, Talisman Tarot. In this reading, I will be asking the cards and Spirit directly what career path is right for you. So I have 4 groups here for you. This will be group number 1, this will be group number 2, this will be group number 3, and this will be group number 4. And so I will ask you to use your intuition to really choose the right group for you. The group that speaks to you the most, the group that draws you in, the group that catches your eye. And so I will give you a second to choose the right group, and you can also pause the video if you need more time. And so let's proceed to the reading. So hello, group number 1, you chose this ammonite, and so I see I will start with a channeled message and then I will proceed to the cards. And so first of all, I see ancestor worship, shamanism, ancient wisdom. You are supposed to make sense of some ancient texts. You are supposed to uncover some secrets of the world. And so I definitely see that your path is within the field of religion, spirituality, and occultism, because this is a fossil here, and so definitely see that you are supposed to solve some mysteries of the past. And so maybe you are also supposed to study archaeology and ancient civilizations and the history of ancient civilizations. Also when I see this fossil here, I think of those shells on the beach that you can put up to your ear, and then it's like you can hear the ocean. And so I think you are supposed to read ancient texts, because when you do that, you have this ability to travel back in time and travel into the mind of the author that wrote them, these texts. And so you have the ability to really get in touch with the author of the texts and the books. And so, which I think is because you can connect with the dead. You can do necromancy. You can probably also do bibliomancy like that, but bibliomancy in another way, not the usual bibliomancy, because the bibliomancy you can do is you can get in touch with the author. You can wake the author up from the dead, and communicate with the author of the book. And so you can probably also practice mediumship if you want to, but I mostly just see that you can touch old objects, and then the objects will show you the truth. They will share their wisdom with you, and that is why I think you would be it would be very beneficial to use ancient texts and books, because then you can truly solve the mysteries of the ancient world, because you can connect with the people who wrote these texts, these from the ancient world. And so I really think you should practice this, and you can also maybe get in contact with your ancestors this way as well. So if your ancestors maybe wrote some diaries, or if you have an heirloom in the family that belong to your ancestors, then maybe ask your family if you can touch that object, because that way you can receive some information. You can get in contact with your ancestors that way. So I actually think for some of you also, maybe look into Chinese religion, so Taoism. I heard Lishan Laumu, and that's probably not how you pronounce that at all, but it's like a goddess, I think. And so I also heard Nyangulis, and that I'm not familiar with that word at all, so I don't know what that means. It could be Latin, so Nyangulis, but so maybe read some Latin text, maybe. I also heard some singing bowls, and so maybe you are supposed to do something that has to do with meditation and chakra healing and just healing in general. I think you might be a healer. I also think you might be able to heal with your hands, so maybe you should be a masseuse. You could probably do shiatsu or shitsu. I don't know how to pronounce that, but like, I definitely think the right career path for you is within like spirituality and religion and healing and alternative medicine. And I think you are supposed to do something with ancestor worship as well. And so if you are from China, it would be beneficial for you to read ancient texts from China. If you are from Scandinavia, it would be beneficial for you to read the ancient texts from Scandinavia. So like, or not ancient texts, but like, well, yeah, like old texts from Scandinavia. So like Nordic mythology. You might also want to like be a part of, like, for example, Nordic mythology. There's probably some kind of group in your country, or there might be that actually worship the Nordic gods, and so maybe you are supposed to do something in that community. So I'm not, but like, so that might be something you could do. So I heard like Forn, and that is actually a Danish group that worships Nordic mythology, if I remember correctly, and like, it's very unlikely that you are from Denmark, but something there probably is some kind of group, and well, it doesn't have to be Nordic mythology, but like, if you're from wherever you're from, if your ancestors are Native American, then maybe you should like maybe you should join a group, or create your own group in your community, or start your own community that worship those well, worship whatever your ancestors worshipped. Like, so I also think that like you should also look into botanicals. So using botanicals for healing, so both as alternative medicine, but also how botanicals are therapeutic, how it's therapeutic to use your hands. You probably have like a gift of like making plants grow, because you can probably just touch a plant and then you can communicate with it. Then you can ask the plant what it needs. And so like, I really feel like you have this great gift, because you can use your hands to draw information out of just about anything in this world. And so I think you can like feel what a plant needs, if it needs water, or if it needs some other kind of like dirt or whatever, and you can feel what a person needs by just touching that person. Of course, not inappropriately, but like, you can touch their arm or something, and then you can like get information like from their body, what their body needs if they are dehydrated. Like, so you have this great gift. You should really look into it, because I think you might have shamanism in your bloodline. So maybe you are Native American, or some where there are shamanic roots. So it could be Iceland as well, but and China and India and South America as well, like somewhere where there are shamanic roots. So I think you might have a much more interesting ancestry than you think you have, and so maybe look that up. But either way, I just think you have this great gift of communicating with things, and you probably can also, like, you can make anything reveal itself to you. And so I think you can do this with people as well. Like, you can make people open up to you. So you might want to look into some therapy or psychology as well, because I think you have a way of making people reveal things to you, maybe even things that they didn't know about themselves. Like, you just open people up. But I also just get, like, there's something about magic here as well. So maybe voodoo as well, the religion, voodoo, and so maybe look that up. You probably should read about magic and occultism and religion, and because I see that you would be good at it. And so I think your spiritual journey is an important part of your career path, and so you really need to allow yourself to be more curious and seek wisdom. Maybe you will write a book about your discoveries in the future, and maybe also like children's books, like Harry Potter. Like, you might use your discoveries, the discoveries you find from like your research on magic. You can use that to write children's books, or something like that. And so I think you will solve some great mystery in your career, but even if you don't solve some mystery or discover something groundbreaking, then you can still use that knowledge and wisdom you've gathered and write it in a book. You don't have to discover, like, you don't have to solve a mystery in order to, like, write down your discoveries in a book. That's like, if you have writer's block right now, it might be because you have this pressure that you have to, like, that if you were to publish a book, it should be perfect. It should be groundbreaking. It should be something where you solve a great mystery, and you feel this pressure to do that, to discover the wheel. And that is something we all have a tendency to feel. Like, we all feel like we shouldn't write a book because we're all afraid that it's not good enough. But I think you're just supposed to publish the work, even though it's not perfect, even though it's not necessarily groundbreaking, even though you haven't solved the mystery that you put your mind to actually solving. It doesn't really matter, because someone else will read the book and they might actually solve the mystery. So, or they might discover something out of reading your book, and then they will publish their own book, and then that book will end up inspiring someone else and make that person solve the whole mystery. Like, you are a chain, you are a part in a chain where, like, you can still inspire people, and like, we all pick. That's how life is. It's like, that's what the whole point of life is like we are all just picking up where other people left off. Like we are always solving the mysteries that other people were not able to solve in their lifetime, and so we keep the ball rolling that way, and so it goes on like from generation to generation that way. Like we are supposed to share our discoveries, because then our discoveries will be read by someone else who will discover something new by reading them. They will get inspired to figure something else out. And so like that's just so yeah, let's draw some cards to really find out what the right career path is for you. And so 10 of arrows, 4 of pipes, vision or hangman reverse, and 9 of arrows. So okay, with the 10 of arrows here, I think you are supposed to have seances like on the picture here. So yeah, that's also the mediumship I talked about in the beginning of the reading. Like I think you are supposed to like get people into contact with their ancestors. Maybe you are supposed to have like circles, like spiritual circles, where you gather people with spiritual gifts and like sit in a circle and join forces and energy, where you try to unite and change the vibration together, and maybe also do wonders and miracles together. I've heard of this before, like psychic people joining forces in a circle and try to move an object together or something like that, and try to summon like deities or something like that. I don't think you should do that though, but like I remember reading it in one of Aleister Crowley's books, that like some magicians sat together in a circle and tried to summon gods like Jupiter, and then they would like write down all the things that the god said, and all the things that were shown to them about that god, or like all the associations to Jupiter, like numbers and colors and all that like they assigned some colors and numbers to whatever spirit was present with them. Like I don't really remember what it was about, but like I guess you could give that a shot, like do a spiritual circle in some way, or like guide people to get more connected to the spiritual world, or just do like mediumship. And so with the 4 of wands here, so I also see that your future husband or wife might be quite wealthy, and so that is probably divinely guided as well, because I think you are being guided to choose a career within the spiritual community. And well, that is not always the highest paying jobs, but I don't think it will matter that much for you, because you will have a husband or wife who will be able to support you financially, on this journey, and I don't think you will struggle financially, and so I think it will all work out for you, even if you don't choose the conventional route. And so, well, it could also be that your family will be an important part of your career path as well. So, well, it's a bit of a cliche, but like maybe being a parent will be your job, and so something like that. But with the vision here reversed, it's kind of amazing, because when it's upright, it's someone watching their reflection in the water, but when it's reversed, the reflection is watching the person, like, and so that makes sense, because I think you have a lot of soul searching to do. You have to discover a lot of things about yourself throughout your life, and then when you've done that, when you've gone through this self-discovery and spiritual awakening, then you can use what you've discovered to recognize what people need help with, what people need in order to grow. And so maybe you should also consider writing self-help books, because like you will be able to use all the things you've discovered about yourself on this spiritual journey of yours to help others discover things about themselves. And so these mysteries I've been talking about solving can also be like psychological and philosophical mysteries, like how we understand ourselves. And so you might do some groundbreaking work in that field, where you discover something that about psychology, and so that's definitely something I see that you should be doing. And so with a 9 of arrows here, I think there is a world here, and this person is sending an arrow to like the other side of the world. So from one side to the other. So I think your career will be quite international, actually. Like you will not only work in the country that you live in, and well, maybe if you write a book or music or art or something, I think you might become actually well known in a different country than your own. It could also indicate, well, global fame, but I actually see that you might get more fame in a different country than the country you currently live in. So maybe you will move to a different country in the future, but maybe it just means that you might publish your work on the internet, and maybe on English, or like instead of the language that is spoken in your country. And so you might become more famous in USA, for example, that you will have followers there, and maybe you will be unknown actually in your own country. And so like maybe you will do YouTube as well, and maybe you'll do tarot on YouTube, and your followers will be from all around the globe. And I also heard like Patreon, so maybe Patreon will be a source of income for you. I'm not familiar with the platform myself, but maybe that's something that is an important part of your career. And so well, that's what I see for you. Group number 1, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. So bye. Hello, group number 2, you chose this pyrite in fluorite, and so this is a very diverse group. Like, I'll start with a channeled message and then I will proceed to the cards, but like this is two stones in one, so like and I also get like a bit of a confusing energy here. Like, there's a lot going on here. Like, I see so many paths here, and I also think many of you have more than one career path to choose from. I think many of you are supposed to have more than one career path as well, because, well, this stone is a pyrite and fluorite, and it's 2 stones in one, and so I think many of you are supposed to get 2 careers, like 2 degrees maybe, or start 2 different careers, and or build on top of one career. Like, so I see that many of you will maybe get a degree and then, well, build something on top of that degree. So if you, for example, choose to become a nurse, then you might take some courses in psychology or counseling afterwards, and that will qualify you to take patients in for counseling or something like that. And I also see for some of you that you should not worry so much about your career choice. You might be overly worried about it. Maybe you've changed majors a couple of times, and my message for you is to stop worrying so much, because as crazy as it sounds, the right career path for you is the wrong one at first. Many of you are supposed to choose the wrong career path at first in order to get the right one. Like, for example, if you choose to become a nurse, as I said before, and afterwards find out that you want to do counseling instead and take some courses and qualify for that, then I think you will get a job that is much more fitting for you than if you had actually chosen to become a counselor to begin with, because you will work with patients that you care about, and you will have so much experience from working as a nurse that you will know exactly what the patients are going through and what they need. So for you, there is no right path, because if I told you now that the right path for you is counseling, and you go straight ahead and become a counselor, then that would not lead you to the right path, because you are supposed to take that detour first. So I also see other great career paths for you, like culinary school. So I see that for some of you, you might actually be in college right now, and you are at a crossroads right now. You don't feel very motivated about your studies, and you don't know if you made the right choice, and maybe some of you are even considering dropping out. And well, I actually think that if you do that, or if you take a leap year, just to find yourself, then you might start a job in like a restaurant, and that will make you realize that you actually want to go to culinary school and become a restaurant owner yourself one day, maybe. And maybe for some of you, you will take a job as a sports coach for children, or handicapped children, or something like that, which will make you realize that you want to be a professional sports coach, or maybe that you want to work with children, or children with disabilities. Like, maybe you'll be a swimming instructor as well. Like, I see that you have some connection to the ocean and water. Maybe you are a water sign, but I think water is your element. You could also take a job on a ferry or a ship, and maybe if you go to culinary school, then maybe you could like have a job as a chef on a ferry or a ship, or even like a drilling platform. I think you are supposed to do something a bit exciting, something that not many people would consider an option, because maybe people think about getting seasick and think about like that it's scary to be stuck on a drilling platform and feel claustrophobic because you can't really leave whenever you want to. And so like, but I think you actually like that excitement of doing something different. So I think many of you probably have thought of that, like working on like a drilling platform or a ship or a ferry before, because I see that many of you have this connection to the ocean. Like you've probably been on a boat or a ferry when you were a child, and maybe with your grandparents, and like you could probably like you probably were quite fascinated by it back then. And so I think many of you are kind of like, I think maybe also water sports like surfing even, like maybe that's something, but something with the ocean, I don't know. But like you could also like, I also get like a feeling that you are kind of sporty. Like you could probably be a good gym instructor, like fitness instructor, like CrossFit, or you might want to own your own gym one day. Like I heard cross pat, like I don't know what that is, but I also heard trimlets, and it sounds like something that has something to do with sports, but I really don't know what that is either. So like I think it would be good, a good fit to like do something. Maybe that's also what you need to work, like need to build something on top of. Like if you become like a fitness instructor, then maybe you want to build on top of that and become a dietarian, like, or a physical therapist or something like that, and or take people into counseling about their diet. And so maybe that's where the counseling came in, like, or help people recover from something. Like I think it would be a good fit also to like work at a hotel, and maybe even own your own hotel or hostel someday, or bed and breakfast. And so when I saw this stone, I like, it's a pyrite, and I thought about pirate, and that's also why I went with the ocean thing. But like a pirate is also like a businessman in a way. Not really, I know, but like I think you might actually be quite good at business. You might have an eye for it. I also see that some of you might even invent your own product one day. Maybe if you go to culinary school and also have like that fitness approach, you might create your own product, like supplements or protein bars or granola bars or something like that. And so maybe you might also like, I don't know, I heard mortician, and I know that's really in a whole different category. So maybe that is a good career for you, a career path for you, maybe funeral director or even embalmer. I know this reading is a bit all over the place, but it really is because there are quite many paths here for you, and that's only a good thing. I think you have like an eye for adventure too. I don't think you are the type who would stay in one job for too long. I think you need to mix things up once in a while. I also think for some of you, you will work overseas. Like, I think you are supposed to do different things. Take a leap year as a chef on a drilling platform. Take a year as a cleaning lady on a ferry. Move to Spain and work at a hotel in Spain for a year. Go back home and become a fitness instructor. Go to school and become a dietarian or a chef and start your own granola bar business. And like there's not one clear path because there are so many paths, and that's your path. Like, the right path for you is to just follow where life brings you, like wherever like the wind blows you to, like. So, and I think you have an exciting path, career path in front of you. So let's draw some cards here to get a sense of what career path is right for you. So 4 of Wands, King of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, Judgment, Four of Pentacles. So with the 4 of Wands here reversed, so well, with the King of Cups here, that's a bit interesting. So, okay, let's talk about the 4 of Staves here first. So, okay, the 4 of Staves reversed, 4 of Wands. Like, in one of my decks, there's like an illustration of 2 people building a house, and well, so it makes sense with what I said before. I don't think you are supposed to have like a stable career path. You're not supposed to play it safe. You are supposed to take chances. You are supposed to travel. You are supposed to do exciting things. You are supposed to move from career to career and from place to place and start something new. You are supposed to have like a lot of ideas and follow them. You are not supposed to have anything keeping you from pursuing your dreams. And so that's why you are not supposed to have a stable career, because if you get too comfortable in one career, then you will want to hold on to it. Then you will be afraid of losing it, and then you won't take any chances. You are not supposed to settle down and get too comfortable, because then you will miss out on some chances in your life. Like, so for example, you should be a bit cautious if you are considering buying a house, for example, because it might be a bad investment, because you might move away quite soon after that, and you don't want to be too bound to one place. And so that, like, if you would get a job offer to work in a different state or country, then you don't want to have a house that blocks you from pursuing that job. So maybe consider renting instead. But then again, you could buy a house and then rent it out to other people through Airbnb. So maybe that's actually not a stupid thing at all. So, but like with the King of Cups here, I think you will get a business partner in all of this. And so if you are a male, I think this will be a friend maybe who will become a business partner. But if you are a female, I think your boyfriend or your husband will be your business partner. You will probably start a business together. Maybe you will meet at like one of your adventures. Like if you decide to move to Spain, for example, to like work at a hotel for a year, then you might actually meet this person at that hotel. Maybe you will work with that person and you will hit it off, and this person will become your life partner and your business partner as well. And so with the Ace of Pentacles, I think your career path is supposed to be full of new business ideas. You might even like start a business and then sell it for a profit. And maybe like you could be flipping houses as well. Like buy a house and then restore it and sell it for more than you bought it for. You probably could do this with furniture as well, and maybe also clothes. Like you could buy clothes at like a thrift shop and then sell it as like vintage clothes for a lot of money, like more money than you bought it for. So I think you are a visionary. You have like an eye for what can actually give you profit. That might also be the pirate thing. Like I know it's not like being a pirate, because like you're not stealing from anyone, but you might buy something cheap and then sell it for a huge profit. And well, yeah, I think you are good at seeing the potential in things that others might not see the potential in. So, well, okay, so now like it's getting a bit dark, but with the Judgment card here, so I kind of want to get back to the mortician thing again and the embalmer thing again. So maybe a good career path for you would be to be an embalmer, to embalm bodies. Like that is a bit like restoring furniture, like not really though, but well, kind of. And so I think you would be good at that. I think you would be good at making bodies look good. And so I think you are very artistic as well. And so that is where you could use that gift, like your creative gifts. So that is also what I see with the Judgment card. Like, but I think you are good at waking people up from the dead, like by embalming them, of course, like making them look like they didn't die. And you are good at giving new life to old houses and furniture and clothes and even yarn. For some of you, like buying old used yarn and make something out of it, like, if you get what I mean. And with the Four of Pentacles here, like, I also think you could be kind of good at accounting as well. I think you have a talent for that. And well, also for sports, like you can see how this seems like a person who has a lot of balls in his arms, like this. So you could be good at sports that involves balls. Like you could also be a good goalkeeper, maybe, like in the picture here, or just a good sports coach. But also with the goalkeeper aspect, it could also be could also mean that you could like help others keep their goals. So maybe again a counselor, maybe even a life coach, but also like a dietarian, but maybe also like a business counselor, someone who helps businesses keep their goals, someone who helps businesses create business plans. Maybe you could also like be an advertisement as well, and so you could help businesses advertise their brand. You could also be a good manager as well, even for people, like famous people. So that's what I see for you, group number 2. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Hello, group number 3. You chose this Auralite. So I will start with a channeled message, and then I will proceed to the cards. And so I see that you are very artistic, very creative. So I think you are supposed to do something creative. You are supposed to choose a creative career path. So I heard animation. So I think you might want to look into animation. Maybe you should become like creative directors or some sort of creative design. But I think like animation is the thing for you. Maybe multimedia design as well. Maybe some of you can code. So maybe something to do with software coding or designing software. I think you are good at drawing, maybe also drawing on the computer, like on an iPad or something like that. And I also heard anime, make anime or manga, or you could design like things for businesses, like illustrations for their websites or billboards or commercials. I think you are really good at drawing. You could also you could do your own drawings as well, and your own animations. Like you could also do like comics and post them on Instagram or something like that. You are probably also good at doing makeup as well. Probably the more artsy form of makeup. Like you can probably draw on your face. Like you can probably do your makeup so that you look like some celebrity or cartoon character or anime character. Like you are probably good at doing makeup for cosplays and stuff like that. You might also be good at prosthetics too. So I think you can turn people into art through makeup and prosthetics. And so I think doing that professionally could be kind of lucrative for you. So I also think you have this very nerdy side to you as well, where you are good at like software and computers. You might also be a gamer, so maybe you could like do streams where you stream yourself playing games. But I also mostly think you are just good with computers, probably both software and hardware. So I definitely think you should do something that has to do with that. I know that isn't that creative, and well, it is in a way. Like designing software is creative. You are creating stuff, but like I think it would be a good idea to follow that path and then do your creative stuff like animations, comics, makeup, and all of that as a side hustle. And then maybe one day it might flip over, and then you will do your side hustle for a living and your job with computers and software as a side hustle. And so I think it is a good place to start with the software and computers and that. But because I really think you have a talent for that. You are probably good with numbers, which I actually think is quite atypical, considering that you are so creative as well, but it's probably just my own prejudice. Like, in my mind, you can only be either creative or logical. You can't be both, but I know you can actually be both. It's but like, you are the example of that, like, where that isn't true, because you are both creative and logical. You are good at numbers and drawing, and you are probably also good at like chemistry and physics. And well, that's cool, because I think you should do both. You have probably a very balanced masculine and feminine energy, and so you get the best of both worlds. Like, you also, like, the left and right side of your brain, it's like equally good. So it's kind of good. It's very good, of course. So for some of you, you might be good at other games, and not just video games as well. Like, so you might be good at playing poker or bridge or chess or something like that, and maybe you can make a career out of teaching others how to play those games. So yeah, so but let's draw some cards here to see what the tarot has to say about what career path is the right for you. So Knight of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, Ace of Wands reversed, and Eight of Swords. So with the Knight of Pentacles here, I think you are supposed to choose a career that relies on patience, because you have a lot of patience, and like, that could be coding and animation as well, because I think you have the gift of patience. You can sit with the same thing for hours. You are the type who doesn't stop before you've figured something out, or before you've solved a problem. And so I think you are good at solving problems, and you take your time. Like, you could also work with hardware repairments, because like, if something doesn't work, then you work on it for hours until it works. You don't walk away until it works, and you probably can't sleep at night before you figured out why that computer couldn't turn on, or why the RAM didn't work in that computer, or like, so you are good at doing stuff like that, stuff that needs patience and practical thinking. You probably like to be hands-on. You like to be practical. It's probably quite therapeutic for you to like have something to grab onto, and like something physical to like repair. I think so. I think you are good at like hands-on work. So I think definitely you should like do something like that. And with the Six of Pentacles here, like, I think you are supposed to, well, help others, and I think you are supposed to, well, maybe also do some charity. I also heard fair trade, and I don't know where that comes into this. Like, I can't really get it to fit into like the reading, but well, it could be something like, maybe you also like are invested in things like fair trade, like you want to do something like that, solve some maybe even global problems. And so maybe also like solving the problem of like climate change, or so it could be like on a much greater scale. Like you could want to do that as well, but with the Ace of Wands here reversed, I don't think it's very likely that you will take a big risk in your career, and I don't think you are supposed to do that either. Your strength is that you are good at planning ahead. You are good at making calculated decisions. You are not going to make any impulsive decisions, and you might also help others making calculated decisions as well, and not make impulsive decisions. Like you might be, I can see like that you could like work in tech support and answering calls from very impatient customers who keep pressuring keep pressing the same button like 10 times, and you will have to like calm them down and make them stop pressing all the buttons on their computer, or like stop like beating the screen if they think that will work. Like you have to like calm people down and make them a bit more patient, and also if you choose like to teach others something, maybe like how to play chess, or then you will have to teach them to not make any rash decisions, and also like to make like calculated decisions. You could also become like a teacher, actually, like teach chemistry or physics, or and so you will have to like make sure that your students don't make rash decisions while, for example, mixing chemicals or something like that. So that you have to prevent like explosions from happening. So with the Eight of Swords here, like maybe you will also like work with virtual reality, because like in Rider-Waite the picture on this card is of someone who is blindfolded and can't see what's happening around, and so well virtual reality is a bit like that. So that was just the first thing that came to my mind. But you could also work with something where you help people see. So well, maybe like an optometrist, or I don't know how to pronounce that, you know, someone who works with the eye, like you know, like glasses, optometrist, I don't know. But yeah, that could also be something but something where you make people see something that they were blinded towards at first. So it could also be teaching something very, very hard that is very hard for, well, average normal people to figure out. So I don't know, but like I that's what I see here for you, group number 3. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. So bye. Hello, group number 4. So I will start with a channeled message, and then I will proceed to the cards. And so I think you are quite funny. I think you have a very great sense of humor, and also I think you are quite charismatic as well. And so I think your career path is probably something where you will be seen by other people, where you will be in the spotlight in some way, because I think your personality and presence is something that could make you some money in the future. I think it might be your brand, and so I think I don't think. Well, maybe your path is comedy, actually. So maybe you should become a comedian, or maybe a writer who writes funny things. Like maybe you could write like a column in a newspaper or a magazine. But I think it will be very, very much about you as a person. Like, even though I think you would be great at working at writing fiction too, I think you are just more supposed to write autobiographical pieces, like where you write about something that happened to you, or something you just thought about in the shower, or like random things that you think about, funny observations. And I think you have a really amazing talent to make everyday things funny. Like you have a very unique perception of the world, and so your observations are always very unique and funny. Like you see something that others don't see. You think of things that others don't think of. You can see the absurdity in things that others don't even notice, that others are so used to that it passes them by in some way, that they don't see the absurdity that you do, like that and so like the absurdity that you can see. I mean, so I will go, like I can't really think of an example of this, but like I will use the obvious example, but like it's a bit of a cliche, and it's been used in a lot of TV shows many times, but like I can't really think of any other, but like why Donald Duck wears a towel around his waist after a shower when he doesn't wear pants usually. And so like what is he covering up? That like why does he have to cover up after a shower when you know? So like things like that, like you have an eye for catching the absurdity in things that passes many people by. And so you notice the things that others don't notice. You see the funny in things, in everyday things. And so I think you could be a very great comedian, but also like you could do commentary as well. Also reviews. You could make book reviews or movie reviews, because you have an eye for like catching the odd man out, the thing that doesn't fit in to the plot in a movie, for example. Like you're good at seeing the plot holes and pointing the plot holes out in a funny way. And you could also write books, and they would be very funny. And it's probably like, it probably doesn't really matter what you write about, because I think you can turn any topic into something. You can make everything funny, because you have a gift of like describing things in a funny way, and like making funny comparisons. Like you probably could make a fiction book where you make fun of like a genre. So like, for example, a romantic book where you make these funny descriptions that are like making fun of all the cliche romantic things that are written, that people write in those romantic books. Like you could, for example, like you could make the male lead in that book describe the female character as having light blue eyes that are the same color as the bathroom door at that 80s themed restaurant that he went to with his mother last month or something. I know that's not funny, but like, instead of just describing the eyes as light blue as the sky or the ocean or something, like, instead of using those cliches, you could actually describe things in a more funny way. Like, you could also write satire as well. I think you have a comical writing style, and so I think you are supposed to use that in your career. You are supposed to express yourself with words, either the written or the spoken word. So you could probably also do podcasts or videos on YouTube, and I think that is also where the commentary comes in. Like, I think you could be good at commenting on maybe sports, but like, that's not very likely, but also games and video games and movies, TV shows. And like, you could probably do something like Mr. Plinkett, where you make video reviews of movies, like, and so I think, or commentary. So yeah, that's pretty exciting for you. Like, but let's draw some cards, tarot cards, about the right career path for you. So, Knight of Oysters, which is a Knight of Pentacles. Ace of Flamingos, which is Ace of Swords. Page of Oysters, which is Page of Pentacles. Wheel of Fortune. Five of Cups. King of Hats, which is King of Cups. 10 of Cups reversed, and 4 of Wands. So, okay. With the Knight of Oysters here, Knight of Pentacles, I think you have to be a bit patient. Like, if you start a creative career, something out in the spotlight, it might not happen overnight. It might take some time to build up an audience. So be patient. It will happen, but it might happen like slowly but surely. I can see that. So with the Ace of Flamingos, which is Ace of Swords, I think, I definitely think you have to do something that has to do with communication. You will have a very active throat chakra. You will be expressing yourself with words. You will have many ideas to how to express what is inside you, because that is actually just what you have to do, because you have such a unique perception of the world. You are very whimsical. You are like you are unique. You have like this. You are original. You have a different perspective on many things, and it's all about catching that in a jar and sell it to your audience. Your job is really to be your authentic self and try to be as authentic as possible, to not overthink things, to just try to be you, because you are very charismatic and funny and entertaining just the way you are, just by being 100% yourself. And that can be tricky because we all end up putting some facade up. We all try to be someone we are not, to impress people, or because we think that's what other people want us to be like. And I think you have some work to do, because the more authentic and honest you are, the more successful you will be. So maybe take some time to really get to know yourself first. Try to figure out what you want and who you are deep down. What makes you special? What makes you you? Because sometimes we are a bit oblivious to that ourselves. Like, you know how some jokes fall flat because it's obvious that the person telling the joke were overthinking the joke and took too much time trying to make that joke. And so the funniest jokes are the ones that are just thought of on the spot. And I think you have that gift of just making up jokes on the spot. You are good at improvising, you are good at thinking fast, you have a great mind and a very interesting mind. And I think if you can give the audience like an authentic look inside your brain, then you could become quite successful. And with a page of pentacles here, so here it's like a bunny or a hare. Like, maybe you could also do magic tricks, but I think of this as like a bit of an entertainer in this deck because of the bunny and the bunny ears. Like, I don't know why, but like, you know, I think of like bunny ears, like someone, someone light and someone who maybe likes to crack jokes on and make practical jokes on other people and do things like someone who's more light and so. But of course, it's also about education, and so you could probably also excel in school. You could probably write very interesting assignments because you can think outside the box. You can see things that others don't see. You have very unique perspectives and opinions that will probably shine through in your assignments. And even though that is magnificent, I think education will be too limiting, like for you, because, well, the education system doesn't really value the free thinkers, and that's a shame, because you have that sort of brain that could end up discovering something groundbreaking, if you like, because you have that ability to notice things that others don't, and you have this creative mind that can like see something differently out of something. Like, you notice things that others don't, and so you can make associations that others don't make, and you might be able to like compare things that others don't see as comparable. Like, people don't notice the similarities between some things and other things that you just see right away. Like, you can pull strings to other things, and that is because you are extremely intuitive. You think on the spot, and you are very easily inspired. You get an idea and then you follow it. and you follow it wherever it leads you. So you could actually do wonders for for academia in whatever field you would choose. Like you could expand that field with your creative thoughts and ideas, but academia might not be able to do the same for you. Like academia might not be able to expand your mind. And so, well, that doesn't mean you can't study the field that you are interested in. You can read the books and do your own discoveries, and that will be just as worth as much. There would be just as much value in that if you got a degree. Like you can just teach yourself. You can read the books. You don't need a degree. You don't need a teacher to teach you these things. I think you would be good. Like you are autodidact. Like because then like you can read whatever you are inspired to read at the time where you are inspired to read them, and that's the thing. Like you have a teacher. Actually, you have your intuition as your teacher, and or spirit as your teacher. So you have someone who is like constantly inspiring you and showing you the way and giving you ideas, and you need to follow those ideas. You need to follow your associations. Like you are actually getting recommendations all the time. So you've like probably noticed that you've been reading a book and then you suddenly got the urge to read another book instead, and that's because you were supposed to read that other book, and that was divinely guided. And that is so hard to do when you are in school and you have to read whatever book your teacher wants you to read, because then you can't follow your intuition and seek the wisdom from the sources that are presented to you, that are personalized recommendations made only for you to broaden your horizon. Like the spirit knows what knowledge you need to possess. It knows that what knowledge will come in handy in the future if you are supposed to make some huge discovery or invent something. Then you need to listen to the spirit, because spirit will show you the way. Spirit will show you which book to read, if that makes sense. So, and with the wheel of fortune here, again, I think you are supposed to listen to your intuition. I think you have a lot of fortune waiting for you, but you need to listen to the guidance you get. You need to allow yourself to be inspired and excited about the things you do. But also this picture here, like it's of like a mouse who's like talking to these animals here, and it kind of looks like the mouse is explaining something. And so maybe you need to explain things to people in your career. Like I think you have a way of explaining things in a way that is fun. So you could also become a teacher. Like I think you could make algebra funny and exciting if you wanted to. Like you have a way of making even boring things interesting, because you can always find some interesting angle. And I think it's because you actually find almost everything interesting. You have like this natural curiosity that allows you to become excited about almost everything, all topics. Like that's also why education doesn't really work for you, because it's narrowing the field so much. Like you have to be like free to like seek inspiration from all the fields, all the all topics, all like from everywhere, really, like, because you find everything to be, you can seek, you can get inspiration from just about anything, from like engineering to religion to psychology to biology to physics, like quant physics, like everything can be inspiring for you to read, like, because you have a very curious mind. You can so with the 5 of Cups here, I think you also will be good at like looking at the glass half empty, and that is also a part of the comical thing. Like, you might be good at making like you might have like a pessimistic humor or like a dark humor, like, and so, but like you could like make columns in a magazine where you are just being grumpy all the way through, like where you just hate everything and nag about small everyday things in a funny way, of course, but also like I think of a critic also when I see this card, and so that makes sense with what I said before, like someone who like you can see the odd man out. You can well, and you may focus more on the negative than the positive. If you were to make reviews, for example, like you might focus on what doesn't work in a movie or a TV show instead of the things that did work, but you will deliver it in a way where it is kind of it is very funny. So with the King of Cups here, I guess when I see this illustration here, I think of someone who is a bit of an island. So maybe you're supposed to work alone. You are supposed to be your own boss. You are not supposed to work with others or in a team, or like you're probably not even supposed to have a partner, like business partner. Like I think you are supposed to do something all by yourself. You need to be your own brand. You need to do something where you can be completely independent, like a writer or YouTuber, comedian, entertainer, magician, blogger, critic. And so with the 10 of Cups here, like this card is also of like when it's upright, it's Alice knitting, and so maybe it's saying that you will have your hands full, that you won't have, because it's reversed, and so you won't have time to knit or sit around because you will be very busy in your career, I think. And so also if you're considering a career in design, and maybe like, well, if you are considering a career in design, then maybe that is not the right career path for you. So that could also be like a message. But so with the 4 of Wands here, in one of my decks, the 4 of Wands has an illustration of 2 people building a house together, and so it is about the stability of your own home. And so I think you will work from home a lot. I think your career will happen within your home. That will be where you write your books or make your videos and stuff like that. And so I think you will work at home. Your home will be your office. So that's what I see here for you, group number 4. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. So bye.